I'm hearing finally. Finally, finally, finally. It's complete. It's over. It's done. Whatever it is that you've been holding on to, whatever it is that you have been battling, working on, striving towards, something about it is finally finished. There's something that you've done, some threshold you've crossed that has brought you into a state of irreversible completion of something tremendous. The energy I'm feeling is a very rare feeling that I experience sometimes, where it's a very energetic just exhaustion, but it feels like completion. And it feels like now it's time to truly, truly rest. Finally. Finally. I'm going to pull some cards for you to see what this message moving forward now is. You've completed something. Something big is finished, complete. Where's it out to? Take what resonates, leave the rest. Spirit, can you show me an animal guide? Yeah, dragon and vulture here. You see yourself clearly. You have slain the dragon, and you've now become a dragon in your own right. You've mastered the fire element, the transmutation, the transformation. You've stood tall, you've battled, you've pushed. Even when you wanted to give up, you didn't give up. Even if you had to stop for a moment, you always got back into it. And you cleaned something up. Something really big died here. A big cycle, a big situation, something large transformed. Within you, surely, but also within the situation that has been completed, whether that was in a relationship, a workplace, some kind of matter. Like, you were such a huge part of bringing transformation and a cleanup to this situation, bringing light to the darkness, organizing this shadow. I get the vibe that you were put into the underworld even. Yeah, you were cast into a karmic cycle for the sake of your transformation, for the sake of your growth. But it's not just for you, and it hasn't just been for you. It's been for something much greater than you can even maybe see now. That sun. The sun shines on everyone. Shines on the entire world. Everybody on this planet relies on the sun, sees the sun. So what you've done here, what you've completed, really has been for the greatest good, and is now affecting many more than you realize, than you know. You're the good dragon. You slayed a dragon, and you took its place, is what I'm hearing as well. There was a dragon. Okay, this story's coming through now. There was a dragon who was not the good kind. Like, they were a dragon who had a lot of power and a lot of authority and intimidated and maybe use their power to abuse, use their power to hurt others, use their power for greed. I'm seeing like the dragon from The Hobbit that sits on its pile of treasure in the mountain to steal. You were like the eagle that got thrown in to the mess as the hero. The only one who could do it. To go in and go on the hero's journey to expose and sort of corner and capture and slay this dragon. That's what I'm getting. And because of that, now you have taken its place. But you've taken its place because the cards came out like this with the vulture underneath. You've taken its place where you've transmuted this and integrated this. So, well, okay, I'm getting such an interesting vision here. There's like a lot of mirroring going on. This dragon that you faced may have been your greatest fear, and it may have been reflected back again in a person, a situation, something you had to do, group, workplace, whatever, family member, relationship, whatever it was. Your greatest fears and your greatest shadows were reflected back in this dragon, in their like lower vibrational form, in their shadow form. And you had to do all of the digging. Part of the work of getting to this dragon and getting close enough to slay it was that you had to see all of the same things within yourself so that they weren't intimidating to you anymore. You had to see all the parts of this person or this situation that you were intimidated by before because it was unknown, because it was shadowy, scary. You had to see all of that, see through it. Bit by bit, so that you could get close enough to slay. But you know what I mean. You had to see it from a bird's eye perspective. You had to see it from a higher perspective. And you had to have humility to see these parts from every angle and integrate them within yourself so that you understood this dragon's game as well. So that you understood this dragon's sort of like every move that it could bring against you. This is super interesting. This could have been a very narcissistic energy, is what I'm getting. And you could be somebody who's like the opposite of a narcissist, which is like an empath. But you had to see your own shadow reflected back at you in this and reclaim that power, right? Reclaim that power, that strong sense of self that you saw reflected in the narcissist as shadow. You had to reclaim the boundaries, reclaim the emotional autonomy, etc. Maybe possibly even reclaim some of like the tricks that this person played and reclaim them, but in a light way, if that makes sense. But you cleaned it up. I'm just getting, finally, you're this now. You're the dragon. Solar plexus, like fully integrated, fully mastered fire element. Power. We're in Leo season right now as of this reading. Fixed fire. You're the ruler, you're the leader now. Now you have this power that was being abused, the position that this energy, this evil dragon was in, they've been knocked down. You have now taken their spot, and it's now up to you to lead in this position for good. I feel like you've been put in this position spiritually. And what I'm seeing is that this doesn't necessarily mean you actually like physically knocked them out of their position or role, right? It's not like, oh, someone was the CEO and then you now just like kicked them out and became the CEO instead. Like, it might be that, could be, but I'm seeing it as more even metaphorical. It's like their sort of position in a much more nuanced way has been knocked out, and you've taken that position. Maybe this person or this group of people had a lot of admiration at one time. They were seen as really awesome, the best of the best, and people thought they were so lovely and powerful and successful, whatever. But now it's like you're being seen as that because you've integrated it and exposed something about that person that wasn't actually, like, what they were portraying was not the true story behind closed doors, and you are now being celebrated, even if that's not what you wanted, even if that's not what you were after. It's just an inevitable. That's interesting, actually. Exactly that. It was an inevitable byproduct of you following this path. I feel like you weren't even you didn't even maybe know you were slaying a dragon. You didn't have all this in your mind, that this was the mission, was to take this dragon down. Like, you just knew to follow your intuition, and you just knew that it was like, you were in it and you knew you had no choice but to follow it because it was your destined path. It was your purpose, and you just trusted and followed it. And now, like, as a as a byproduct, as the reward for that, now you've actually taken the place of this energy, this entity that you took down. Like, you've taken the throne, is what I'm getting. You've taken the throne in dignity and love and in peace for the greater good, is what I'm getting here. Wow. I just saw 12:11 and 12:12 on the timer. There's also a license plate right in front of me that says 112. So ones and twos, combinations of those numbers could be significant. Collective. I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. I split the deck to spider as well. I've been seeing a lot of spiders lately. Spiders are about weaving your life's dharma as a web of present creativity. Spiders are always weaving their web, right? But they're not necessarily thinking about the whole thing or what they're just doing it in the moment, and it reveals itself as they continue to just be present in that. And that's such a lesson for us in our lives too, is to weave our web of dharma. Just like what I just said, you didn't know this was the web, this dragon becoming this leader and this ruler was the web that you were weaving. You didn't know that. You just trusted in the moment and trusted each step intuitively. You trusted that if you followed what felt like it was aligned in the moment for you, you knew that even if you didn't know, and even if it felt risky and scary, you knew it was part of your purpose. And you've learned now how to master that spider energy, I feel like, or are working with it so much more, where you're learning about that present moment, creativity, and allowing that to reveal itself in time versus having to know the whole story or the whole picture with the mind. Beautiful. Beautiful. I love that for you. I want to pull some tarot cards now just to see if there's any more detail now around Queen of Cups. Okay, yes, so Queen of Cups and Three of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So I'm getting, okay, yeah. With this energy I'm feeling of just that sort of energetic exhaustion and feeling like I'm going within and wanting to go within, it's like it's time for you to just reflect and rest. It's time for reflection, for deep emotional rejuvenation as well, is what I'm getting, like a deep recentering, a deep coming back home to self after the battle. It's sort of like it's literally like at the end of the movie when they've done the battle and they've, you know, been celebrated or or even just before the celebration where they have to like go get cleaned off. If you get cleaned off, take some time to just replenish their health and come back to center before the celebration. Like, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting for you right now is, okay, you have done the battle. You've become this leader. Everybody's seeing it. And it's almost like maybe shocking to some people because this truth or whatever it is that you revealed or whatever it is you have done, it's shocking because some people are seeing it for the first time just now. But this, to me, like, you've seen this and been in it for so long that you just become normalized to it. So people are going to celebrate you for this. People are going to be like, how did you do that? Like, that was big. But at this point, you're like, I don't even care. At this point, you're like, I don't care who cares about what. The only thing I care about right now is I'm tired and I need rest and I need to go within and, replenish. So self-care, self-nurturance is really important right now. Inner reflection as well on who you've become, the emotional toll and journey that you've been on, what you've learned, who you have become, where you're at now. Who were you before all this began? Where were you at when this first began versus now? I bet you're a lot stronger. I don't bet it, I know it. You're a lot stronger. A different person completely than you were. This could be now you arriving in the version of yourself that you always had a feeling and knew you wanted to be or thought you might want to be, but maybe it wasn't possible. I think you're arriving in that version now, and you may not even have had the time to stop and reflect and realize that because you've been so caught up in the becoming of it that now it's time to sit back and look at who you've become and to celebrate. And with that 3 of Pentacles, 3 of Coins, it's like there's so much material, financial, like stability and wealth and reward and partnership and collaboration on its way. Part of that, like being celebrated and seen for your stability, being seen for your firmness and your unshakability. All of that's inevitable. So take some time right now. Take some time right now to to really celebrate that you've won over this Knight of Wands in reverse. Because you're the Emperor. Okay, yeah, this is what I'm getting. So 5 of Wands in reverse here. Okay, interesting. Yep. This is what I feel like you were battling. This is what you were dealing with, is this Knight of Wands in reverse, who thought they were something. They thought they were something. They thought they were hot stuff. They thought they knew better. They thought they had it in the bag. They thought they could take advantage of you. They thought they could just do whatever they wanted, being impulsive, arrogant, hasty, stupid, short-sighted, all of the above. Really, really immature fire energy, really destructive as well, causing a lot of hurt and a lot of pain in their path. But you're the Emperor. And I think you always were the Emperor, but during this process, and I'm seeing 5 of Wands in reverse here, this conflict, having to deal with this, you put this in its place. Like, you took that and you were the Emperor with that bitch. You look at him holding up that cube, like structure, creating order out of chaos. You created order out of chaos, is what I'm getting. And this energy was not, even though it's, young and immature, like, not always easy to deal with. Not easy to deal with. You might be somebody who had to really learn the fire element during this time too. You might be somebody who is more in tune with, water, emotions, or earth stability, or air, like the intellect. But it's like fire is that instinctual kind of active force. And whoever you were dealing with might have just always been this way, and it's not something you're comfortable with, but you had to Emperor up, Aries energy. And now that's who you are. It's like in a very short period of time too, I feel like, because it always was you. You just didn't see it and you just hadn't embodied it yet. But it coincides with that dragon and that eagle and that sun, and Leo sees him. The divine masculine. You now have such a strength in being able to order your own life. You have such a confidence now in being able to like manage and lead. And again, if there are energies like this that are just out of whack, running amok, and this Five of Wands, this conflict where nobody seems to know what's going on, and it's just, you are the person now who knows how to be like, hey, what's going on? Let's get this together. So, good for you. Something else is peeking out here. What is it? The World. The World underneath him is peeking out. Around the world. Like, I feel like this has been a huge cycle for you. Like, this hasn't just been like a couple weeks or a couple months. Like this, I feel this has been drawn out now for probably many, many months, years even, a year, over a year, multiple years. And it's been a lifelong process too. It's part of your dharma, part of your life's destiny path to have gone through this, to have dealt with this. And it's probably been a significant transformation for you, a significant transformation period. I posted a reading the other day, you can go watch that too, about the brave little hermit who could. I feel like you were more in a hermit energy. You were more somebody who might have been more comfortable and like passive, sort of like mediatory, diplomatic energy, where you didn't want to have to go too hard on people. But it's like you and people probably also saw you as somebody who might have been like too soft, too docile, a pushover. But that was your greatest strength, because now that you have up-leveled into that Emperor to go along with that you were already so strong at, you are now like an unstoppable force. To have the balance between diplomacy, gentle kindness, softness, an understanding and empathy of other people's needs, with like the firmness and the structure and the discipline and the order of the Emperor, like that is just a combo that is like, watch out, world. You really are the new dragon, the new leader on top of the mountain, and you deserve to be the one who is that leader, because you have the responsibility now. With great power comes great responsibility. This past dragon, immature, Knight of Wands reversed, evil dragon, they loved the power and they had the power, but they did not like the responsibility that came with it, and they did not take the responsibility seriously. You, on the other hand, I feel are almost the opposite. It's like you've always taken the responsibility very seriously. You've always been very responsible, but maybe you've been unable to reclaim your power, or you've been very afraid of your power, or you haven't quite known how to step into it. You haven't quite grown into your own skin in that way. But now, this cycle, like this completion, this finally completion of this cycle, is allowing you to realize this is just the beginning of you in your empowerment reclamation. And it's a declaration as well. It's like a congratulations, you have arrived, you're here now. You're here now as the leader, as the Emperor. We were waiting for you. We were waiting for you. I'm hearing from your spirit team, from the divine. We were waiting for this, and now you're here. Beautiful. What's a challenge for this collective moving forward here? What's the challenge now that they are finally complete this cycle? Seven of Cups. Seven of Cups and Page of Cups here on the bottom. Vehicle shuts off in 30 seconds. Ding. There was a ding when I just showed those cards. What's this mean here? I'll tell you what I'm first getting from Seven of Cups is, it's like going back to that Queen of Cups and that sort of being what's needed now, it's like this this cycle has brought up so many emotions, and the vehicle just shut down. It's like you felt like you had to shut down, or were shut down, or it's like you couldn't shut down. Maybe how many like things were going on in your mind and your emotional space, because this situation was like probably brought up a lot of stress, a lot of fight or flight. Again, if you're facing your worst fears and your worst shadows in somebody, like, and they're actively playing on that, or they're actively doing things that are causing, like sometimes purposely, for you to be triggered in that way, then you've very clearly gone through a process where you've been cast into like I'm seeing like this, the Pisces archetype, cast into just a sea of like illusion and being pulled around in all different directions, in not knowing what's up from down, not knowing what's real from false. Your emotions just all over the place. And so the challenge here, I think, is in understanding and recognizing that that's not the case anymore. You're not going to go back into this. Like, you're not going to get thrown and cast into this. You have, like I said, the irreversible completion. There has been a completion of a cycle and a completion of defeating some kind of energy that is now irreversible. You now see things clearly. Page of Cups on the bottom as the underlying energy. You've grown it. Like, yeah, so the challenge here is recognizing you're not just the Page of Cups anymore. Like, now you're ready for Queen of Cups. You are the Queen of Cups now, regardless of gender. That feminine, intuitive, emotional energy, you have up-leveled through this process. You won't go back to being just this sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Defenseless, kind of like young child, like emotional, vulnerable, naive energy, and you won't be cast into this sea of doubts anymore as much as you used to be. Like, if another person, or even this person, or this situation arises again, it's like you've been through it and you know it. It's like I've already been through it, and I feel like you had to go through multiple cycles. It's not like you've been through it just once. Like, you've seen the tricks, you've seen the deceptions, you've seen the pattern so many times that you're just like at a point where you see it and you can knock it out before it ever gains traction now. And I think you've got the strength now and the boundaries to do that. I don't think, if you're the Emperor now, you absolutely do. And the Queen of Cups is calling you to recognize you now have such a rich inner emotional landscape because you've been through all of this. And now what was once just all these separate, fractured kind of emotions, thoughts, anxieties, depression, even, like all of these things just flying around your head and around your energy field, the Queen of Cups is calling you to integrate it all back into one, and to just look at it from that sort of detached view, and to sit with these feelings and allow them to be what they are, and to honor them, but to also see how they've made you who you are now, and how, again, like, what was once used against you, all these emotions, all these vulnerabilities, maybe naiveties, what was once used against you are now your greatest strength. That's the sort of paradoxical, intuitive, mysterious nature of our emotions, right? It's like they can be such a vulnerability, or such what we feel is a liability, when we're first feeling them, or when other people are able to get to us with them, or whatever. But when we actually feel them, and when we actually get to know what they are, they become then our greatest strength. Because now, when we feel those emotions, rather than getting triggered or pulled into them, or, you know, feeling like the unknown is upon us and that we're just going to get sucked back into a negative cycle, now we know when we feel those emotions that they are like information for us. They let us know what's aligned with us and what's not through experience. If that makes sense. So that's beautiful. 2 of Wands, I just split 2. You have options now. You're not gonna just be like, I feel this has been such a this has been a very, very karmic and dharmic situation for you, that you came here to this planet to be part of whatever this cycle was. Like, this was big, and it was part of your mission here. It was part of what you decided to come as the play of it all, the theater of it all. It was your role to play. And it's like, maybe there were times you were like, why is this happening? I don't want to be part of this anymore. I want to just do something different. But Spirit was like, no, you have to do it. This is the thing you came here for. Your own spirit, your own higher self saying, no, this is what we came here for. And your ego might have so many times just thought, oh, is it finished yet? Is it done? And your higher self's like, no. The dragon is not defeated yet. You've definitely weakened it. Every single step you took weakened that dragon. Every step was part of the process, but you hadn't completed the cycle yet. You hadn't finished it off until now. And I think now, after doing this, because of that, the reward is now going to be that you have options. I really do. I feel like whatever this was that you came and did was one of your main quest lines in this life. Ain't no side quests up in here. That was the main quest line. Whatever you just did and whatever you just completed. I mean, slaying the dragon, is that not the boss fight of them all? That's like the boss fight of the end of a series. So I feel like you're at the end of a series of unfortunate events, a series of empowering events, though. And now it's time for you to write whatever series you want, write whatever book you want. You have options here. You have the world in your hands. Yeah, see, he's holding, in this, he or she, or they are holding the world, like a globe sphere in their hands. So they have options. They have the world in their hands, and they can choose to cast whatever spell, whatever wand they want to cast, and whatever, creation. Cool. So that's where you're at, collective. How beautiful. I'm talking to some strong people. Strength card for this Leo season. I'm going to pull a closing message for you to leave you off, but I feel like this is pretty comprehensive for where you're at now. You have defeated the dragon. You're exhausted, probably. It's time for you to have some much needed rest before the great celebration and before you now have options. And you are very loved, and Spirit's very proud of you. I feel like I need to always close my readings out with an essay, summarizing sentence, summarizing paragraph. But let's see what the closing message is for you here to send you off into a beautiful, lovely day, evening, night, wherever you are. What's the closing message for them, Spirit? Closing message here. You are living poetry. You're a living storybook. Like I said, your life is like Harry Potter, and cut the cords of doubt on the bottom. Yeah, you're living poetry. Cut the cords of doubt. That reminds me of a dragonfly. Maybe dragonflies are significant for you right now. I see a lot of them, especially this time of year where I'm at. Yeah, you're like Harry Potter up in here. Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Frodo Baggins. You're the hero. And your life is not just living poetry. It's a living, epic adventure novel. So, I love you so much. I'm going to leave it there. Take care. And you deserve this. You deserve this beautiful life ahead of you. In every way. All right. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.